I remember the exact moment my world cracked open like a dry riverbed under the relentless Arizona sun. I'd been saving for that Porsche 911 Carrera S for 4 grueling years, every overtime shift at the ranch supply store, every skipped vacation, every freelance gig fixing fences or herding cattle on the weekends. It wasn't just a car, it was my ticket to freedom, proof that I, Emily Hayes, could carve out something solid in this vast, unforgiving Western landscape. I'd grown up on our family ranch in the Red Rock Canyons near Sedona, where the air always carried a hint of sage and dust. But inside me, there was always this churning storm of doubt. Was I enough? Could I ever escape the shadow of my sister, Sarah, the golden child who seemed to glide through life while I clawed my way up? That morning, I was buzzing with anticipation. The dealership in Phoenix had called. My custom build was an early. Black exterior, red calipers, that throaty exhaust I dreamed about during long nights staring at the stars from our porch. Just wire the deposit today, Emily, the salesman said, his voice smooth like a well-oiled saddle. I pulled up my banking app, heart pounding. But the screen showed $32.47. My stomach dropped, a cold fist twisting in my gut. I refreshed, logged out, tried again. Nothing changed. All those years of sacrifice gone. Vanished like rain in the desert. Why me? I thought, sinking onto the edge of my bed, the rough quilt scratching against my palms. Had I been too trusting? Too eager to prove I could stand on my own? My mind raced back to 3 years ago when Mom, Mary, convinced me to make the account joint. Just in case of emergencies. Honey, she'd said, her eyes soft but evasive. Family looks out for family out here.
이든
Because that's what you do in a place like this. Trust the ones who raised you, even when the doubts whisper otherwise. But now, those doubts screamed. I called the bank, my voice barely steady. The rep, a woman named Carla with a thick Texas drawl, confirmed it. 3 large withdrawals, authorized by my mother. Joint holder access, she explained, as if it were just paperwork, not my life unraveling. I hung up, the phone slipping from my numb fingers. Betrayal burned in my chest, hot and unrelenting.
How could she? How could they?
I paced my small room, the wooden floor creaking under my boots, replaying every family dinner where Dad, John, boasted about Sarah's latest modeling gig or her entrepreneurial spirit selling handmade jewelry at local fairs.
Me?
I was the reliable one, the workhorse fixing the irrigation system or balancing the ranch books late into the night. But reliable doesn't get applause. It gets taken for granted. I grabbed my old journal from the nightstand, flipping through pages of scribbled goals. Earned, not given. I'd written under a Porsche sketch. Now it felt like a cruel joke. Later that afternoon, my phone buzzed with a text from an old mentor.
Tom.
From my internship at a Phoenix financial firm. Saw some weird activity on accounts linked to you, Emily. Sub-accounts opened. Funds redirected. You okay? His words hit like a rattlesnake strike. This wasn't just a mistake, it was deliberate. My parents had used my name, my credit, to shift money around. Tom's voice on the follow-up call was grave. This smells like fraud.
Kid.
Conversion of assets. Get a lawyer. It's not just family drama. It's illegal under Arizona law. I thanked him. But inside, turmoil raged.
Confront them?
Or pretend it never happened. Like so many times before, when Sarah got the praise and I got the scraps. That evening, the ranch house smelled of Mom's chili simmering on the stove. The kind she made to smooth over tensions. But nothing could smooth this. Dad was in his recliner, flipping through a cattle auction catalog, his weathered face set in that unyielding expression forged from years wrangling steers. Mom busied herself at the counter, avoiding my eyes. Sarah breezed in late, her phone glued to her hand, laughing at some social media post. I stood in the doorway, arms crossed, forcing the words out. You took my money. All of it.
Dad didn't flinch.
That account was family money. Emily. You live under this roof. Nothing's just yours. His words sliced deep, echoing the inner voice that always questioned my worth. Sarah smirked, not even looking up. Maybe stop being so obsessed with stuff. It's not healthy. Mom stayed silent, her hands trembling as she stirred. I wanted to scream, to shatter the illusion of our close-knit family. Instead, I retreated to the barn, where the horses nickered softly, oblivious to human cruelty. Leaning against a stall, I let the tears come. Why did I always swallow the hurt? Why couldn't I fight back without feeling like the villain? But that night, something shifted. As I stared at the stars through the barn roof slats, a quiet resolve built. This wasn't just about the car, it was about reclaiming my voice, my dignity. I wouldn't let them erase me anymore. The next day dawned bright and merciless, the sun baking the canyon walls like it was trying to forge me anew in its heat. I skipped breakfast, avoiding the kitchen where Mom would offer coffee with that guilty half-smile. Instead, I drove my beat-up truck into town, the dusty roads winding through sagebrush and juniper, each bump jolting my thoughts into sharper focus. Why had I let this fester? Deep down, I knew fear. Fear of losing the only family I had, of being the one who tore us apart. But silence had cost me everything: my savings, my dreams, my self-respect. In Phoenix, I met with a lawyer named Victor Ruiz, a no-nonsense guy with a small office overlooking the city sprawl. He listened as I poured out the story, showing him bank statements and Tom's notes. Joint accounts can be tricky, he said, leaning back in his chair. But unauthorized withdrawals and forged subaccounts? That's financial abuse. Emily. Arizona law protects against elder abuse, but it cuts both ways for adult children too. We can file for fraud, seek restitution. His words ignited a spark, hope mixed with dread. Suing my own family? It felt like betraying the ranch code of loyalty. But wasn't their betrayal worse? Driving back, my mind swirled with inner conflict. What if this destroys us? What if I'm wrong? And it's all a misunderstanding? But the evidence was ironclad. Stopping at a roadside diner, I nursed a coffee, staring at the menu without seeing it. Memories flooded. Age 10. Fixing a broken fence while Sarah played dress-up. Dad praising her creativity while ignoring my sweat-soaked efforts. Age 16. Using my first paycheck to buy groceries during a lean season, only for Mom to credit Sarah's helpful suggestions. The slights accumulated like dust storms, blinding me to the truth. They'd always seen me as the supporter, not the star. That evening, I confronted them again over dinner, steak from our own herd, grilled tough like the conversation ahead. I've seen a lawyer, I said, voice steady despite the knot in my throat. I'm pursuing this legally if the money isn't returned. Dad's fork clattered. You're bluffing,
Girl.
family doesn't drag each other through courts. Sarah rolled her eyes. Drama queen much? Get over it. Mom whispered. Emily, please. But her plea only fueled my rage. Why beg now? After staying silent, alone in my room later, I scrolled social media out of habit. There it was, Sarah's post. Her posing with the Porsche in our driveway. Red rocks framing the shot like a postcard from hell. Caption: Dreams come true when family has your back. Blessed comments poured in Aunt Clara's hearts. Uncle Mike's well-deserved. No mention of me, the invisible architect. Hurt morphed into fury. How dare she parade my pain? A DM popped up from Sarah. Accidentally. A video of her laughing with friends. At least Emily finally shut up about that stupid car. It wasn't meant for me, but it landed like a gut punch. I saved it, my hands shaking. This was an accident. It was cruelty normalized. That night,
Doubts assaulted me.
am I overreacting? Is revenge worth the rift? But no, their actions screamed entitlement.
Mine whispered survival.
I started compiling evidence, statements, messages, even old emails about the car. If they wanted war, I'd fight with facts. Days blurred into a haze of preparation. Victor filed the suit, financial fraud, intentional misrepresentation. The ranch felt like a pressure cooker. Dad's glares heavy as lead. Mom's sighs like wind through the canyons. Sarah's snide remarks cutting deep. One night, she cornered me in the barn. You're ruining everything. Dad's stressed. Mom's crying. Happy now. Her words twisted the knife. Part of me ached for the sister I once idolized. But the betrayal overshadowed it. You ruined it first, I whispered, turning away. Inner turmoil peaked during a solo ride on my horse. Dusty. Through the trails. Why does family hurt the most? Because we expect safety, not sabotage. Tears blurred the landscape. But clarity emerged. This fight was for my younger self, the girl who always yielded. By week's end, the court date loomed, a beacon in the storm. As the court date approached, the ranch transformed from home to battlefield, every creak of the windmill echoing my racing heart. I'd wake before dawn, staring at the ceiling beams, questioning everything. Was justice worth fracturing bonds forged in blood and soil? But each doubt circled back to the empty account, the stolen dream, reminders that their love came with strings, pulled tight around my future. Victor prepped me relentlessly. Stick to facts. Emily. Emotions sway juries. But evidence wins cases. We had it all, bank records, the forged signatures on sub-accounts, even Sarah's damning video. Arizona's laws on financial exploitation were clear. Parents couldn't misuse joint access without consent.
Yet, guilt gnawed at me.
What if Mom truly didn't know? Her evasive glances suggested otherwise. But doubt lingered like morning fog. One afternoon, a package arrived, anonymously postmarked from town. Inside, a USB drive and a note in Mom's handwriting. Listen when you're ready. I plugged it in, her voice filling the room, trembling like aspen leaves. Emily, your father pushed those transfers. I signed blindly, afraid to question. I saw your hard work. I'm so sorry. Pauses punctuated her words, heavy with regret. It wasn't exoneration, but it humanized her, trapped in Dad's shadow. Just like me. Forwarding it to Victor, I wrestled with empathy. Why now? Was it genuine? Or manipulation? He replied, not admissible. But it shows coercion. Use it for closure, not court. That night, I confronted Mom alone in the kitchen. Why didn't you speak up? She crumpled, tears flowing. I was weak. Honey.
John.
He controls everything. Her admission cracked my armor. For the first time, I saw her not as betrayer, but victim, years of quiet submission eroding her spirit. Sarah, meanwhile, doubled down. Her social posts turned victimized. When jealousy tears families apart, comments sympathized. But cracks appeared, Old friends demanding me support. We always knew you were the strong one. It bolstered me, easing the isolation. Dad remained defiant, barking orders around the ranch like nothing changed. But I noticed his hands shaking during chores, a vulnerability he'd never shown. The hearing arrived. The courthouse in Phoenix, a stark contrast to our rugged life, polished floors, echoing halls. We sat divided, them together, me alone with Victor. The judge, a stern woman with Western roots evident in her drawl, listened as Victor presented evidence. Dad's defense faltered, his lawyer cited family assistance, but the forgery sealed it. When Sarah's video played, the room hushed. Her voice, "It's not stealing if she didn't deserve it." Gasps rippled. Dad whispered to Mom, but her face stayed blank. Cross-examination gutted me. Their lawyer painted me as ungrateful. You lived rent-free. Yet sue over shared funds. I met his gaze. Shared? I earned every dollar alone. Inside, turmoil raged. Am I the monster here? But Victor's nod grounded me. Recess brought offers to settle. But I refused. This wasn't just money, it was accountability. Back home, tension peaked. Dad cornered me. Drop this, Emily. You're killing us. His plea stirred pity, but resolve held. You killed my trust first. Alone later, I journaled furiously. Why does forgiveness feel like surrender? But seeds of humanity sprouted. Perhaps redemption lay beyond victory. The trial resumed under fluorescent lights that hummed like distant thunder, mirroring the storm in my chest. Witnesses testified. Tom detailed the red flags. A bank expert confirmed unauthorized access. Their side crumbled. Dad admitted pressuring Mom. Sarah denied intent, but her video betrayed her. The judge's questions cut sharp. Mr.
Hayes.
Explain using your daughter's credit without consent. He mumbled about family needs, but it rang hollow. Mid-trial, Mom took the stand voluntarily. Her voice quivered. I regret everything. Emily deserved better. It wasn't scripted. Tears streamed as she described Dad's dominance. Sarah glared. But I felt a pang, compassion for the woman who'd raised me, flawed as she was. The jury's faces softened. Even Dad shifted uncomfortably. Victor whispered, "This humanizes the case." Closing arguments amplified my inner war. Their lawyer appealed to tradition. Families argue, but blood mends. Victor countered, not when betrayal breaks the law. As we awaited verdict, I paced the hall, thoughts colliding. What if we win, but lose each other forever? Guilt clawed. Am I too harsh? But no, their actions demanded consequence. The jury returned quickly, guilty on fraud counts. Restitution ordered, full repayment plus damages. Sarah's assets frozen. Dad's financial advising license revoked. The courtroom exhaled. Reporters scribbled.
Outside.
Sarah hissed. Happy now? You've destroyed us. Her words stung. But I replied softly. I just wanted fairness. Mom approached, hugging me briefly.
I'm proud.
Even if it hurts. Driving home through winding canyons, relief mingled with sorrow. Victory tasted bittersweet, like rain after drought, nourishing but destructive. At the ranch,
silence reigned.
Dad avoided me. Sarah packed angrily. That night, I found Dad on the porch, staring at stars. I thought I was providing, he muttered. For the first time, vulnerability cracked his facade. I was wrong. His admission pierced me. Perhaps he wasn't evil, just broken by his own insecurities. Over days, settlements trickled in. Money returned, but healing beckoned. I initiated a family meeting, not confrontation, but conversation.
We all hurt, I said.
But maybe we can rebuild. Sarah scoffed initially, but Mom's tears softened her. Dad grumbled apologies. It wasn't instant. Resentments lingered. But dialogue opened doors. In the aftermath, the ranch felt reborn under the western sun, wounds scarring over, not vanishing. With funds restored, I bought the Porsche, but parked it modestly, a symbol of resilience, not revenge. Driving those canyon roads, wind whipping my hair, I reflected. Betrayal taught me boundaries, but forgiveness freed me. Sarah and I talked, haltingly at first. She admitted jealousy of my drive. I confessed resenting her ease. Dad sought therapy, confronting his control issues. Mom bloomed, joining a women's group. Our family, fractured, mended through effort. The lesson? Family isn't entitlement. It's mutual respect. Choose truth, set boundaries, and heal together. In the end, strength lies in compassion, turning pain into growth.